rats were just unfazed by us. Like, you'd open up a bait station, they'd be in there just chewing as if tigers eating lunch with their buddies. It's like,
wow.
Yeah, it was.
You got anything to drink with this?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, don't let me interrupt you here.
This is Las Vegas Real Estate Now with local real estate expert Harvey Blankfeld.
We always ask our contributors to send us a little outline of what they want to talk about, so I have an idea where we want to go. And one of the bullet points that Kevin put on his outline to me kind of freaked me out is underwater scorpions. What?
Yeah. So when I said they were resilient and surviving nuclear disasters, there's much more of these things than besides.
So they swim?
So I had a client. It was actually a good friend. Their parents. I was on vacation. They texted me, "Hey, we have a scorpion in the bottom of the pool." Now this is the winter time. They're not using the pool. I'm like, all right, I'll be back from vacation in 2 days.
We'll
Come
deal with
over
it
and
later.
take over it. Yeah. I get there 2 days later. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna fish them out with the pool net, right? So
net.
I fish out with the net. Drop him on the pool deck. He starts walking off. Or she.
And he's been underwater for days.
For 2 days at least.
Oh my goodness.
So, and sure enough, you start researching it. It's 24, 48 hours, if not longer, that they can survive underwater.
Oh my goodness.
It's the resilience of these things. I as much as I hate to, kill them and that sort of thing, you have so much respect because they're just, they can survive in so many different conditions. It's like,
if they weren't harmful to our pets and us, and then we would say, God, go out there and kill all the bugs. Right. Go for it, man. The other pest that we talk about here in Southern Nevada is rodents. And this is an issue that comes up. We hear about these roof rats and we hear about other things like that. Give us an update on what's going on with rodents here in Southern Nevada.
Yeah, so it seemed like when I first got into this business, it was maybe they would start breeding. Their gestation period usually would end in spring. So it's kind of you're dealing with it at the same time of year. Since there's just been such a eruption in their numbers, it's just taken off where it's year round. It's year round rodent control. I mean,
and they're everywhere now.
Yeah.
There's no place that's really exempt from this rodent issue. Yeah. And is it roof rats? Is that I call them roof rats. I don't know what they're called, but
yeah, that's their.
And they get in. Name, They get in from your tree. They get in from tree into your attic, and that's how they're getting in. Listen. That's one thing I tell you. When home inspectors always talk about this. If the tree is touching the house, no good.
Oh yeah.
Make sure your tree's limbs are not touching your house anywhere, because that's how they get in the house. They climb the tree, and then boom, they're in. The next thing you know, they're in your attic.
Yeah.
Right.
And when wintertime, especially, be really vigilant. If you hear even like a little scuttle up there, that's kind of how it starts.
Yeah.
So you sit there and you think, oh, I'm just hearing things. It's like, especially, and you go outside, you see maybe a limb's overhanging on your house. They only need, rats, something the size, a little entry point the size of a quarter, right?
Yeah.
And they're in there. So it's like,
yep.
It'd be great to think that you could completely seal every entry point up, but it's so hard to seal up every entry point because they're just so.
Yeah. Yeah. Look, and we don't want any of these things in our home. I mean, they're not paying rent. I don't want them there. So, for me, it used to be that you talk about seasonality with this stuff, but now you're saying it's all year round.
Yeah, and the main issue is a lot of people will have rodents, and they don't think that they have rodents because they don't see the rodents, right?
Yeah, they're good at hiding.
They are. They're amazing at hiding, and the way I always categorize it, you have 3 different really types of infestation.
Okay.
So your first is you have where you don't see them, but maybe you see some activity. Oh, I saw some droppings on the wall.
Right.
Something like that. That means they're present on the property, obviously. They don't go too far from where they're nesting.
Right.
The second level is I'm seeing them at night, or I'm sitting in the backyard, I see them run across the wall, or I see them, I hear them on the roof, something like that. A little more population there. And the third is if you're in the daytime and you see them.
Oh boy.
We have
you got an issue because they're making themselves notice like, hey, what's for breakfast?
Yeah, exactly.
You got a problem. Yeah, let's not let that happen. But there's a difference between the type of rodents we have up in northern Nevada versus southern Nevada, huh? So tell me about that a little bit.
Yeah, so we expanded up to Reno, and it's just we didn't expect the expansion happened about probably 7 or 8 years ago now, and we didn't expect to really run it because they're actually the same species. But
really?
The way they've just kind of evolved in terms of having to survive the winters up there, they're just bigger, they're furrier, they're just...
Oh.
Yeah, and it's amazing because you'll, occasionally when a technician is going around checking their bait stations, so that's the bait station for those that don't know, it's Usually
glue traps or
it's usually a box.
Oh, I've seen those boxes.
Yeah,
yes,
exactly.
with a little hole on the side.
And it's got
Okay.
some bait in there. So
Gotcha.
rarely do we ever find like an actual. Usually, what they do is they go and eat the bait. They leave the box and
They go somewhere else and they pass away.
exactly.
And then they smell.
Yeah. Luckily, a lot of them burrow deep enough underground to where you don't have to deal with the smell. But in Reno, it's like it was unbelievable. We were first up there and we're checking, and these rats were just unfazed by us. Like, you'd open up a bait station, they'd be in there just chewing as if like they was eating lunch with their buddies. It's like,
Wow.
Yeah, it was.
You got anything to drink with this?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, don't let me interrupt you here.
That's amazing. Yeah. Wow. Okay. And so I didn't know you guys worked up in Reno too, but that's interesting. So it's the same species, but it just gets a little more fur, gets a little more fat, so he can stay warm.
Yeah.
But they're still seeking that warmth in the winter.
Exactly.
I mean, they're looking for a place, and usually it's somebody's attic.
Exactly.
Because attics, look, they stay fairly warm for the most part. Even in the winter, they don't get too cold up there. So that's what they're looking to do.
And you have all that insulation that's up there that they can use for try and use
Beds.
it as a blanket. Really, it's
Yeah,
just,
they're going to sleep in that stuff.